over physical limitations. Determined to surmount the odds and end the pity party at just 10 years of age, he has risen to become widely renowned as Africa's leading background check expert.
He is the chairman, board of trustees of the Association of African Professional Background Screeners. He became an entrepreneur immediately upon leaving North-South Bank in 1995.
He worked as CEO of Josh Cyrus, a human resource and outsourcing organization, after which he became the inaugural CEO of Background Check International (BCI), pioneers of the background check industry in Nigeria and West Africa in 2004.
He is also a public speaker at workshops, conference facilitator, and an encourager whose hallmark in life is to always impact other lives for good and for God. Now,
as he describes the art of converting today's challenges to tomorrow's triumph, let's receive with a warm welcome, Kola Olugbodi.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Yeah, so it is another edition of the Performance Tools LinkedIn Live with Adedoyin Adebayo. Today is the 15th. Today is episode 15 of the Performance Tools LinkedIn Live. Let me just quickly tell the audience, our audience, wherever they may be watching from, let's know where you are watching from. Please indicate where you are watching from. Our topic for today is Crucibles of Leadership. Crucibles of Leadership. So we are streaming live from Lagos, Nigeria, and it is 12 p.m. out here in Lagos, Nigeria. So please let us know where you're watching from, our audience. Let's and also please kindly tag someone. Please tag someone wherever you may be. Let's know, your friends that you know that they're going to benefit from this conversation today. I have a big fish in the house. Today, and we're going to have a robust conversation, more like structured around storytelling. That's the nature of what we're going to have today. I have Mr. Kola Olugbodi in the house. Today we're going to have a conversation today. So it's someone who has defied all odds while growing up. He suffered disabilities at a very tender age, but that did not affect him. It didn't affect the leader that he has become today. And that's what we are going to look at today. We're going to look at how he was able to navigate through the crucibles, through the many trials. Let me through his many trials, through the hardship, through the challenges growing up. So we're going to look at that today. Please, wherever you may be watching from, let's know where you're watching from. Then also please tag someone that you think maybe is going to benefit from this conversation today. So Mr. Kola Olugbodi is someone I respect so much. We've been on the platform for about 3 years now, thereabouts. He's a respected leader within the industry, the HR industry, the background check industry, and all of that. So he's going to share his story with us today. We're going to learn two things, two lessons I promised my audience today that they're going to learn. They're going to learn lessons in leadership. There are also lessons in learning. Yeah, there are lessons in learning. So thank you so much, sir, for honoring my invitation this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Doi. It's really a pleasure to be here this afternoon. Thank you for the invitation. I don't take it for
Thank you, sir.
granted.
Thank you so much, sir. So just a quick way of introduction. I want you to introduce yourself to some of, people who are viewing from anywhere who probably don't know who Olugbodi is. Let's get to know you. I know you have a very robust profile, but within one minute, let's get to meet you. Let's get to know who you are. Then before we start today's conversation.
All right, so thank you so much, Doi. All right, so I'm Olugbodi. I currently serve as the CEO of Background Check International. That's the organization that pioneered the background screening industry in Nigeria. And of course, I'm also the chairman of the Society for Professional Background Screeners, also based in Nigeria. I'm a member of Professional Background Screeners Association, an international body for background screeners across the globe. Of course, I've been in this business for like some 17 years now, and I've been in the business world for close to 35 years. So that's who I am.
Wow. Thank you, sir. I mean, if we are to stay here, we may not leave here. Trying to look at your profile and all of that. Okay. Yeah. So I just want us to look at your crucible story. I mean, I prefer to use the word crucible because it resonates with me. Years ago, I read about the story of Mandela, how his experience in the prison actually shaped how he governed. While he was the president of South Africa, he specifically said that, I mean, he was being interviewed one day, and he said that if it weren't for the time he spent in prison, he might never have developed the strength later necessary to lead his nation out of apartheid. You've got a wonderful story, story of hardship, story of challenges, story of, I mean, triumphs, many triumphs, many trials, and all of that. And I want us to start basically, most especially starting with this, the sad experience of poliomyelitis and how the disease influenced your life till date. So, if we are to start, sir, what really happened and when?
All right, thank you so much, Doi. I think I was about 2 years old. One of those days, I was in the room with my mom, and I told her that I would love to ease myself. And then, of course, she gave me the potty. And while I was on the potty, and she went out to do some other things, and then came back to clean me up, and she found me on the ground, flat on my face. And according to what my mom told me, she told me, said, Kola, get up. And I told her, I said, Mom, I can't get up. And she thought I was just playing some of those my mischievous pranks. Like she said, I'd always been from when I was born. And then she tried to pull me up from the floor, and I went all the way to the floor again. Then she realized that there was a trouble. my two legs were paralyzed. And of course, I was taken all over the place, and the Octodus hospital said it was polio. But of course, in those days, there is always a lot of belief in diabolic things. Some people believed that it was diabolic, and so I was taken from one place to the other as we're combining the orthodox medicine with traditional medicine and everything. Of course, along the line, life came back to my right leg. That my left leg, of course, is still paralyzed and paralyzed till date. So that's how I grew up discovering that I have this disability. You know, but something changed in my life when I was like 8 years old. We grew up in the city of Lagos. But our parents take us to the village like once a year for holidays, and most times that's always like in December for Christmas. And so the Christmas period for that, in that particular year, our father took us to the village, and we got there, and we discovered that the masquerade festival for that same village was happening at the same time as the Christmas. But of course, we came from Lagos, we didn't know the implication. And one of those days, I followed some of my friends, majorly some of my cousins, and I think yes, one of my uncles too was there. Young uncle is just a year older than me, and then I had like one or two of my siblings there. Young uncle,
I can't.
my grandfather had like 4 wives, and then the younger wife. When the grandfather is still giving birth to children, and the same as his children, as his own son. So one of those days, like I said, we went out, and we just wanted to go see some uncles and aunties, and we got to the middle of the village, and we had these drummies coming from nowhere, and immediately the drumming started. We saw the people in the village, they started running helter-skelter, and of course we had to ask and say, sorry, what's happening? And one of them just while hurrying away, said, that masquerade that just came out, it is not supposed, or it is, whether is or it, was not supposed to meet anyone on the road. And so, of course, my cousins, immediately they had that took off. The rest of the relatives took off. And then I was supposed also to run, trying to escape from the masquerade. And then there was a big problem. The only way I could attempt to run away was to hop on my right leg, because I could not move as fast as I should in order to escape the masquerade. And then at that moment, I started screaming, I started crying and shouting for anyone that could actually hear me to please, somebody please come and help me. I can't walk. I have a bad leg. I don't want this masquerade to catch me. Please come and help me. And that day, not a single person heeded to my cry on the call, but something really very dramatic and happened in my life that day. While screaming and crying, suddenly in my heart, I just some thoughts started going through my mind. I said, oh, all right. So is this the way life really is? In life, when you think you need people most, that's when they will desert you, And in that, my young 8-year-old mind, I just told myself, I said, people are not good. I'm not going to trust people again. I'm not going to put my trust in them again. I'm not going to rely on them for anything again. And then, you know, I was just telling myself, so if I'm going to really make any headway, number one, escape from this masquerade, it's left for me to find a way of escaping from him. And then I was young, but those thoughts were just flowing through my mind. And I told myself, if I'm going to make any headway in life, if I'm going to really be able to really become anything in life, I think my destiny is in my hands. You know, so that day, some things happened inside my small heart. I just discovered that I was not going to trust people again, and I just discovered that my destiny was in my hands. Of course, while I was crying and those decisions were going on in my mind, that my young uncle ran back and he said, "Kola, jump on my back." You know, when
On
he
my
came
back.
back, I felt like, all right. So the coast seemed to be clear, and that's why you feel it's a good time to come back. And
To
I
come
just
back.
told myself, all right, people will only help you in life when they think it's convenient for them, not to when you think
Wow.
it's right for you. You know,
Wow.
so that was how
Wow.
from that day,
I will I will interject here, sir.
okay,
I will interject here. I mean,
okay,
wow. You said people are going to only help you because of this masquerade experience now. Um, hello, sir, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you doing.
Okay, yes. Because of this masquerade experience now, you, I mean, you came to the realization that you must take the full authority of who you become in life. And you said something now that uh, people will only help you when they feel it is convenient for them, right?
Exactly, and not because it's right for you, not because that time, you know, the time you really needed them, they never came. So they feel, all right, this is the time I think it's okay for me, you know. That was the way my young mind translated things from that day.
Hmm. 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 Wow. What an experience. What an experience. So let me ask this question. Most
Okay.
especially, I would I'll just ask a question around this masquerade experience. Seems to
Okay.
be a very critical, an important experience in your life. Why was this masquerade experience or masquerade event especially important to you as a leader today?
All right. Okay. So as a leader today, you know, one thing that happened from that day was that I discovered that, of course, before that time, I'd always enjoyed a lot of pity party. Um, I'm always exempted from a lot of chores and anything that looks so hard, whether in school or at home. Once it's looking like whatever, I'm always, people will tell themselves, oh, no, don't let Paula carry any bucket. No, 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 don't let him do that. You know, he has a bad leg. He's not, let's pity him. You know, so I enjoyed a lot of pity party before that masquerade experience. From
Okay.
that time on, since I told myself that I was not going to trust people again, you know, so I no more allow people to pity me. I started training myself to do a lot of things that people ordinarily would not allow me to do, even though it was tough. And then, of course, one of the other things I told myself, you know, seeing myself cry because I felt vulnerable. I told myself I wasn't going to cry because of my weakness again. I'm not going to cry because of my disability again. You know, so those were some of the decisions I made from that day, and I discovered that sincerely 8 years ago, that's almost like 40 something or something years back, I still discovered that some of those traits still operate in my life up till now. You know, like I just, from that moment, a can-do spirit came upon me. I just believe I can do anything. Next time when a masquerade comes, I believe I will escape. You know, so I grew up training myself to just have that can-do spirit. You can do anything. You can do it. You know, I remembered growing, I mean, when I was a teenager, and then my father started training my other siblings to drive. And it was my turn. My father said, "Oh, Kolawole, you can't drive this car because of your bad leg." And he was consoling me. When you grow up, you will be rich enough to buy an automatic vehicle. You know, I just smiled because from that time, I no more allow anybody tell me you cannot. You know, so a day is going to come, I will need somebody to take me around, and they will say, "Oh, sorry, we don't have your time." So I need to know how to do everything. Of course, I trained myself how to drive that same vehicle that my father said, "No, you can't drive this." I trained myself to know how to use just my right leg that was okay, and the left leg that was paralyzed. I trained myself. Of course, I would always use my left hand to compress my left leg that was paralyzed on the clutch. Then, of course, quickly change the gear, and of course, the right leg that was okay works on both the brake and then the accelerator. I grew up with that can-do spirit, and so as a leader now, I just believe that anything can be done. I just believe that nothing is impossible. I just believe that there is always a way. In life, people will always tell you, "Oh, no, there is no way." I've always told myself, the only time you will tell me there is not a way is when we have tried every option possible,
Everything.
and then we now discover that, oh, all right, we've tried all options, there is no way. I'm not going to take you telling me as just the gospel truth, so to speak. And you know, growing up for me, to be able to achieve a lot of the things I was able to achieve, it took a lot of resilience. It took a lot of resilience from me. It took a lot of not listening to naysayers saying, "No, you cannot do it." You understand? And I grew up discovering that the resilience is still in me. You know, I don't easily, you know, I said I don't trust people. So of course now, yeah, I do some level of trust. But when I'm
Trust.
disappointed, I tell myself, all right, you know, you've always told yourself, trust no man, you know. All right, so that's the way I describe that till date. Um, those things just structured my life.
Life.
You know,
Let
so
me share. Let me share a video. One of your videos, just to further talk about the cannot. You know, so I mean, I'm just going to share this first. Um, I'm going to share this video first. Okay.
on that children, I thought I could not do whatever. Of course, that changed my life from that time. I discovered that I had to learn how to walk.
I discovered that I was different from other children. I discovered that I could not even do what every other person. Of course, that changed my life from that time.
Yeah.
I discovered that I had
that
to learn how
experience.
to walk. I discovered
Mm.
I was different from other.
I wanted us to talk about the cannot in just a minute. I have that bookmarked already. In just 1 minute. Yes, I want to show the. I want to show the video where you drove, or I mean, you
Oh,
drove,
okay.
just to let people know that. Uh,
Was still paralyzed for over 50 years now. But I learned how to use my left hand to compress the left leg and press the clutch, and then of course the right leg.
Anyway, because of our let's continue.
Okay. Hello, Doyin. I'm still with you. Hello, Doyin.
Yeah, apologies. It's because of the because of the video. Yeah. So let me ask this question, sir.
Okay.
So from the masquerade experience, any other major challenging event? What other major challenging event did you experience during this period? I mean, while growing up.
All right. You mean like when I was young?
Yes, when you were, I mean, also growing up, or I mean, even when you are an adult,
Oh,
as
all right.
yes.
All right. So, of course, my life had been a bundle of challenges.
I know.
It's been a bundle of challenges. I remembered growing up, at least maybe in secondary school. of course, I know I'm so brilliant, I'm so intelligent, but you know, when we got to secondary school and we were supposed to move to the classes where they're going to specialize the subjects we're going to be doing, whether sciences or social sciences or art. You know, one of the teachers at that point said, all right, if he said it and I can't remember who said it now, that, all right, so the A class is for students that are very brilliant, and the A class is going to be for sciences, the B class is going to be for social sciences, and for students that are struggling or not so brilliant, they're going to be in the C class, which is going to be for art students, you know. And I told myself, yeah, I know I'm brilliant, and if I'm one of the brilliant ones, I think I should be in the sciences. So I got to the science class, and of course, physics, chemistry, biology. I got there and I discovered, yes, when is the literature side of this subject, I enjoy the literature side. But when it comes to all the calculations and everything, then I'm thrown away. So I quickly discovered that I'm not supposed to be in the science class. The best I should be is in the social science class or the commercial class. But because they have said, unless you are not as brilliant, that's when you go to either B or C. I struggled to stay there until I did my external exam, which we call WAEC, and I discovered I had only 2 credits and I think 2 or 3 other P's and lots of F's. And so in my life, I discovered that of course, I sat down and asked myself what went wrong, and I told myself, you misled yourself to be in the wrong class.
Were you in sciences as against
yes,
social science?
I should have been in commercial, which I think was what flows with my life, but I struggled to do physics, chemistry, biology, and I had F's in I think physics, maybe P in one of them. Of course, F in chemistry and biology. You know, so of course that was another challenge. You know, one thing I just want to bring out of all these things. Somehow, because of where we are going in the future, we're going to go through a lot of issues in life that we may not understand why those things are happening then. But it's when you get to the future that you will discover that, oh, all right. So this was why I had to teach myself how to drive. Oh, okay. So this was why I made the mistake of going to a science class instead of being a commercial student. You know, so many things happen for younger ones watching this. Some things will be happening in your life now. You may not have any answer to them now. But I tell you, some 5, 6, 7 years down the line, you're going to get to some point and say, "Oh, all right. So this was why I had to do this." You know, just maybe on the funny side. Now I run background checks, and background checks is all about don't take people at their face value. So when I say trust no man from childhood, tell me any good thing now. All right, sweet. But I'm still going to verify.
You're going to verify.
I'm still going to run my due diligence to confirm whether all the things, the sweet things you've said, actually, I mean, the truth. So somehow.
Let me quickly ask you this question, sir. Let me quickly ask you this question. I don't want to miss it. Could we say that because of your masquerade experience, the masquerade experience you shared the first time, could we say that experience informed, because you said that that experience you with that left an imprint that you will not trust anyone any longer again. Could we say it's because of that experience that's what led you into the profession where you had today, the business where you run today, background check? Is am I correct?
Yes, I do background check now, but somehow we don't all always know where we're going to end in the future. But you see, what I tell the younger ones now is begin to study the traits of your life. You tell me you don't know what you have to do, but study the traits of your life. Aside from that masquerade thing and my telling myself, trust no man, one other thing I knew about myself was that I can be so inquisitive. Anything you tell me, depending on how you tell me, I'm going to still do something to check it out, whether you said it right or not.
Or not.
Some of those things can be to my heart. I remembered my mother telling me when I was very young, he said, don't touch a broken switch, electric switch, or naked wire. She said, if you touch it, she said it in a language in Yoruba. She said, Omagbe. Omagbe means that it will lift you
electrified.
Yes, it will be electrified, but she said, Omagbe. And so my curiosity said, all right, so is it that it's going to literally lift me up?
Lift me up.
Throw me somewhere? Because I've touched some naked wires and it only, shook my hand, never really big, like she said. And so the day I saw, one of our broken switches, I remembered what she said. And I said, why not try whether it's going to just shake you or shock you, or it's going to literally lift you. Of course, I put my hand when nobody was watching, and I was taken off my feet and thrown outside. And so from that day, when someone says, when you touch naked switches or wires, it can actually be, as in lift you, I can tell you beyond all reasonable that yes, that it happens because I tried it. You understand? So now doing background check, it's all about, are you sure? What he said, is it true? You understand? So you can actually, you may not know the profession, but somehow you will be able to add some trait of your life together and just know that, all right, maybe this is where I'm going to end up. I have the gift of being inquisitive, whether not totally believing you, maybe it's a gift. I know I have it. But now I end up doing what, when anyone tells you anything, I said, come here, let's help you verify it. So that's how maybe some of the things in my growing up years ended up becoming the profession I'm doing now. But the point I'm saying is that you're going to go through a lot of crucibles, a lot of challenges, a lot of trials, a lot of things in life that is not the end of the story. There is somewhere you are going, and all those things will be relevant. You understand? Of course, because of my disability, getting a wife was also a challenge. Everybody liked my face because I think I'm handsome. But then, of course, when they see the guy I walk around, they say, oh, no, this is not fit to be a partner. I faced that and I told myself, Kola, it's going to be, one thing many don't do to themselves is to really tell themselves the honest truth. I told myself the truth. I said, Kola, it's going to be difficult for anyone to actually want to marry you the way you are. But I told myself, I deserve the best. I'm going to get the best. You understand? And of course, the more I try to chat up ladies, and then they will say, no. I say, Kola, no, it's because she's not the best for you. If she's the best, they will say, yeah. All right. Of course, eventually when I met my wife, she said no for 4 years. I kept on going after her. And the fourth year, she said, well, actually, I would have still said no, and now I'm going to say yes. You know, so it's just a way of letting people know that resilience, that you persisting, you knowing what you want in life, going for what you want in life. When they tell you no, no is not the end of the matter. The one that said no ended up 4 years down the line to say yes, because I knew who I wanted, I knew what I wanted the best, and I went after the best. And saying no 4 years never stopped me. You understand? So
yeah.
Many things, like you rightly said, one of the lessons I've learned in life is that, like John Maxwell said, sometimes you fail, and then sometimes, sometimes you win and sometimes you fail. But he crossed the fail, he said sometimes you learn. So when you think you fall or you fail, they are not the end. You're actually learning lessons of how it's not going to happen again somewhere down the line in your future. You understand, though?
Yeah,
Of course,
very well.
the first big business I think I tried in life was, I was doing more of buying and selling of commodities. Of course, people will started depositing ahead, or they need to deposit ahead quite a lot of funds, and the business was doing very well. The funds was flowing. I was living large, so to speak. And all of a sudden, everything turned 360 degrees, lost
Wow.
the old fund, was neck deep in debt, had court cases in my hands, went from maybe being rich into sincerely literal penury, had no funds. The best place I could have as a roof over my head was the boys' quarters of a friend. You understand? And when we say boys' quarters, that's the quarters where maybe if you have a driver where he stays to rest before you go out. It's not anything big. I was in that boys' quarters, no fund, no business, no food. I was married. Thank God that the children took 7 years to start coming, no children. And of course, at that stage, you start losing friends. Then you remember that you told yourself, no, don't trust any man. When things are good, you have friends. When they are bad, they leave you. You understand? And, yes, I lost the business, but I sat down at a point. I said, why did it fail? And I also told myself, now you did the business, you are neck deep in debt. For you to get out of this business, of this mess, then you need another business that will be big enough to keep paying. So I kept on going from one venture to the other. Started a pure water business, paid some of the debt. At a point, some of the people I was owing, they arrested myself and the truck. Of course, because I taught myself how to drive, I didn't trust myself that I would give the truck to a driver to help sell the pure water. I will not be stealing my money. So I had to be driving the truck myself.
But
Got guys to be helping me. You understand? And then, of
Yeah.
course, at the time, I was arrested by somebody that I owed, took me to the police, army, barracks, and of course, I had to struggle to pay him his money. And I told myself, so is this the way it's going to keep happening? So I sold the truck. Okay, before I sold the truck, I gave it to some guys to run local markets and buy those local food stuff, bring them to Lagos. Those guys will use the truck for like 2 weeks, come back, tell me stories. Why? Sorry, we could not make any money. The car got spoiled. Every money we made, we spent on it. I knew they were lying. I said, okay, leave my truck. Then I heard of this multi-level marketing thing, buy the product, buy products, make downlines, and then of course you make money from the product. And then when your downline is selling, it will push you upline.
You will be getting something.
I sold the truck, bought the combo pack, and discovered that it was so difficult to make downlines not to talk of selling the product, you know. So at the end of the day, we ended up using almost all the product in the pack. And so that was the way we finished eating a whole truck. But the fact that I kept on struggling and it wasn't working did not make me to say, all right, Paula, stop. I was in debt. I had a wife at home. I needed to meet my responsibility as a man. I needed to also be responsible in offsetting my debt. I was doing everything possible. You understand? Just to make ends meet, which was, of course, then was not, the ends were not just touching themselves, you know. And in the process of the going from one thing to the other, that was when I stumbled into the background screening industry, you know. And of course, by the time I was going to start, it just ended up to be the first company that was running background check in Nigeria. And yes, I was searching. It looked as if I was not going to find. Eventually, I struck this. I've been in it for like 17 years now. And it's made all the life that I felt I lost to really come back. So what I'm saying in essence, doing is that resilience is I never knew my creator was teaching me the lessons in resilience and being tough and not giving up. And you know, I'm someone that tends towards the religious side. You know, a time I read a something in the good book that says your enemies will come against you in one way and they will flee in 7 ways. And I told myself, when troubles come against you in one way, there are 7 solutions by which they can flee.
They can flee.
So when I was going from one company, starting one business, and it kept on folding up, I kept on telling myself, you have 7 ways you can do these things.
You only
tried 3. Well, I keep going on. By the time you get to the 7th, you're going to find solution. I'm not sure I got to the 7th. I think background. I think background the 6th or so, and then solution came. You understand what I'm trying to say? So because of the things I'd gone through, I'm much more careful. Number one, what made the first business to fail? It must not happen this time again. You know, then people pay upfront. When I started background check, I was so afraid of touching people's money that we say, hold your money, after service, pay me. And my staff didn't understand why I was doing that. But I told myself, I'm not going to touch nobody's money until I believe I've serviced them. Of course, it took like 5 years after really being sure that, yes, I understand how this thing can be done. If you pay me ahead, I'll still deliver your service. That's why we started telling people, pay certain percentage upfront and the rest later. And then later we said, all right, pay your money. If I had not fallen before, I would be arrogant to think, anyhow they bring their money, I will always deliver. I'd failed before, so I can't afford to fail again. You understand what I'm trying to say?
So I mean, so many lessons going on here. I've got a couple of questions now. Let me just try to see if we can answer 1 or 2. Then we'll come back to the story. Here, someone is asking a question here that says this. I mean, from time to time, I get questions in my inbox. Someone is asking here that, how do we turn tough times into triumphs? And how do we help those around us do the same? I got about 5 or 6, but we just look through maybe 3 or so. Then also, if you also have questions from other people who are live now, please let's have your questions. I mean, this is one question that we have here now. How do we turn tough times into triumphs? then how do we help those around us do the same?
All right. This is a whole seminar question.
I know.
All right. You know, one thing, of course, I'm talking from experience. One thing I did when I was in tough times was that, number one, I told myself how it was going to end right from the start of the trouble. I told myself, this trouble is going to end in greatness. This trouble is going to end for my good. It's going to end me being promoted. What that means is that, please see the end. Be very optimistic. Troubles will always come. You understand? Life and trouble, they go hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
You understand? And the fact that you actually overcame a trouble does not mean you have overcome all the troubles in life. Please,
In life.
just tread gently, because another one is waiting some 3-4 months ahead of you. That's what I've discovered with my life. It may be big, it may be small. You understand?
Exactly.
So troubles will always come, troubles will always go. Tell yourself, this is going to end. This is going to end, and tell yourself, it's going to end for my good.
For one's good.
You know, I believe in the good book very well, and there's one of the passages here that says, and we know that all things work together for good.
Together for good.
So I know whether it's going to be palatable or not palatable, whether it's going to be tough or not tough, I know that all things will always work together for my good. You know, when the business trouble, when it was going to happen to me, and I was just afraid, and I was praying, and a story came to my mind, a story of a man called Kish that had a son called Son. And one day the donkeys of this man, they all got missing. And he told his son, Saul, go in search of these donkeys. And he was searching from one place to the other, and he went very far from home. And then the servant that went with him said, oh, there is a seer in this place. He will tell us where the donkeys are. And then when they saw the seer said, oh, the donkeys have been found at home. But you, the throne of Israel is turned unto you. So Saul went in search of donkeys. He found a throne. He became the first king over Israel. You know, when I read that story at the start of the trouble that I was having, I told myself, Kola, you're going to lose donkeys. But you're going to find a throne. So I was going through I mean, when everybody saw me, why are you struggling? Why are you doing? I said, there is a throne to be found. All right. So when troubles come, one thing you need to do is that, please believe in yourself that I'm going to weather this storm and I'm going to get out at the end of the day. And believe in yourself. Yes, believe in your God, and believe that this situation is not an end in itself. It's going to lead to something better for me. And so as you are going through it, go through it with joy. Yes, I mean with joy.
With joy.
You know, I remembered a day as I was speaking, there was no food in the house, nothing. It was just myself and my wife. She just struggled to put something together. And we knew we were eating the bread of affliction, so to speak. And I looked at her face and I knew she was sad. And I told her, I said, my wife, you know, it's not going to always be like this. A day is going to come, I'm going to take you around the world. We're not always going to be in this voice, because I'm going to build a house for you. And of course, when I did it, I did it in her name. So I always call her that, you know, I'm your tenant, you are my landlord. You know? I was telling how the things are going to be. They were not. I was calling things that are not as though they were. And now they are. So how do you turn, tough times into triumphs? Please have the end of that matter in mind. That is going to end in good right from the start. And any trouble, any toughness, anything that you find in the course of the journey, tell yourself, these are part of the things I need to learn. It's going to end in joy. It's going to end in joy.
End in joy.
So I don't have any ABC answer for you to know how to go through troubles. You understand? But you know one thing I did, maybe I should add this. I was in debt to a lot of people. Something was telling me, run away, run away, run away. But I told myself, if I run, then I'll keep running. I'll keep running. So I faced it. People were pulling me, taking me to the police, taking me to court. You know, one day I told one of them, I said, the only reason why you all know where to pick me from is because I decided to stay. If I ran away, you know, all of you would have forgotten your funds. You understand? Please face it.
Face it.
If you run from your trouble, you will keep running because it will keep coming. It's just like an exam that you failed, and you told yourself, I won't. Maybe I will just push it to another year. Maybe when I'm in the third level, when I'm the fourth level. When no matter how long you push it, you're still going to face it. So the earlier you face it, confront it, and overcome it, the better for you.
Wow, that's awesome, sir. I mean, we have so many questions coming in here. Maybe we'll just possibly look at one or two here. So someone is asking that here. Let me show another one. Which emotional scars did you heal from to become a better leader?
Emotional scar. Yeah, you know. Now, what's the emotion when you feel betrayed? You understand? When you expect so much from people and they let you down, how do you feel? You understand? I went through that.
No doubt.
I went through that. When people will not even give you they won't give you any chance. They have already condemned you even before you started. I remembered after leaving university, I went for an interview. There were like 2,000 candidates, you know.
Wow.
And I was one of them. And then, of course, you know, and of course, people have been going into the interview room, spending like 15, 20 minutes, some 30 minutes. Immediately I stepped in, you know, the panelists, they all looked at themselves. And then one of them boldly told me, "Sir, Mr. Olugbodi, nice to have you here. We're not going to waste your time. You'll be out of here in the next 5 minutes."
Wow.
They've not asked me one question.
One question.
They saw me walk into that place with a walking stick, and they already concluded, no, he's not him. Of course, I smiled and I sat down. And you know what I did? The application that I sent to them was like 6 pages. Wow. And I've told them everything I've done in life, my accomplishment in life, and everything, and why I'm the best person for the job. Of course, they've all read that application over and over. And so when I sat down, one of them said, "Is the owner of the application?" And so they looked at the application and my accomplishments. They looked back at me. They looked at my walking stick. And so they started asking me to tell them more about all the things I wrote. And they discovered I was the best person for the job. You know, at the point after spending 45 minutes, they went to call the CEO. And then the CEO came. And then I understood what was happening, that, sir, come see by yourself also. Because if we tell you, is this one-legged man that we gave the job to, you may not believe. Come see him yourself. And the CEO also told me, even though they told me there's going to be a second interview, that the next letter I got was that I should resume.
Wow.
You understand? Wow. I've faced betrayal a lot of times. I've failed people not believing in me a lot of times. That you see, I would have made a big mistake in my life if the way people see me is the way I see myself. If I conclude about myself the way people have concluded about myself, you won't be interviewing me today, Doyin.
I know.
Because I will be one of the beggars by the gate of one of the offices, and I'm so sure you won't interview me then.
I know.
You understand?
I mean,
all right. So that's the way it's going to happen. People are going to disappoint you. People are going to let you down. And see, once you have settled that in your mind, when you get to those subjections later in life, of course, as a CEO, I've been disappointed by some staff, but you know, it never got to me the way it would have gotten to me if I'd never faced some things when I was young.
Wow. So many questions to ask, but unfortunately, I've structured this to be just 1 hour session. I know that if we are to stay here, so many questions will start rolling in. So many questions will start rolling in. Wow. I really, really want to thank you, sir, for honoring this invitation. I really, really, really want to thank you. I mean, I don't even, I'm speechless. I must say, I'm speechless. I'm so speechless. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for honoring the invitation. And I know that another time, if I come to you, you will oblige to answer me one more time. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Again, let me ask, where can people get your book? I mean, I have my copy here. This is the book, Through It All.
All right.
So, where can people get the book? Because I mean, someone has sent a message to me now that they would like to read your book. They'd like to get to know more about your accomplishment.
Thank you so much, Doyin. You can order a copy of the book on this website, TIA.com.
Sorry, sir. Can you help me type it so that I can you type it in the comment section?
Oh, okay.
So that, yes, I can just put it up there for people who want to probably buy. I have someone also saying here that, do you run a mentorship, a paid mentorship program that I would like you to mentor him?
Well, I do that.
Okay.
I do that. You can always get back to me after now.
Okay. Please let me type the website so that I can put it up there for people who want to. Okay. I've seen it. Okay. I've seen
and then,
it.
of course, it's also on Amazon.
Okay. Okay.
I'll share the
Yeah.
Amazon link with you shortly.
Okay. Oh, okay. It's also on Amazon, that people can get it on Amazon as well.
Yes, you can also get it on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay. But people can go to www.tia.com.ng
.com.ng. You can.
to order. I wish we could spend more time talking about so many things. I mean, we didn't even talk about the about background check international. Talk about some other things and all of that. But
Don't
it's
worry.
okay.
Any other
We'll
time you
find,
want me to come
exactly.
on the
We'll find
program, I'll
another
be
time.
here.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Listeners, that's the end of today's episode. We'll catch up some other times. Oh, okay. So just last question. I want us to please, in the current global economic reality, what's your advice for young, talented guys that believe in fantasy? Let's answer that question before we.
Believe in fantasy. I don't
Mm,
understand believe in fantasy. But of course, you see what I tell the young ones in these times is that
mm,
it's time for you guys to look inward.
mm,
Many keep telling me I've been searching for jobs for 2 years and I can't just get it. If you can't get a job, why not start one? Um,
mm,
so I won't want you to be chasing fantasies. Maybe the fantasy I've heard of in recent time were young guys. Of course, I have a friend that started a business with bean cake, and now it has grown into something big that took her to White House. And some young
mm,
guy said, no, unless I get a job that is worth 250K and above, I'm not starting any job. No 50,000 job, no
mm,
100,000 job. I just have to start from the top. No,
mm,
nobody starts climbing a tree from the top. Please start from
mm,
the ground. And of course, you see the jobs you do, for the first 2, 3 types, jobs that you do, they are not necessarily to enrich you or to get
mm,
lots of salaries. They are for you to learn. They are to train
mm,
you so that in case you plan to do some things on your own in the future, you have a ground to stand on. You already have a foundation. You
mm,
understand? So I think we should do away with fantasies. Let's come back to reality. If you don't find the jobs, create one and don't start big. Try and start small and let it
mm,
grow organically. And if you get a job, don't tell me no, the salary is not worth it. If it's going to be
mm,
your first job as a young guy, please don't work because of salary for your first 1 or 2 jobs. Work for experience. And because you have the experience, your third job, you're going to be talking from the angle of experience. And so you can negotiate your salaries. Of course, you even know where you're going to go because you already have the experience.
mm, mm.
So I don't understand the fullness of that question, but that's the way I feel like responding to it.
Yeah, yeah. I think you've done. I mean, that's a good one. So, thank you so much, sir, for your time, and
You're
we'll
welcome,
keep
Doyin.
coming back again and again. Thank you.
Thank you. So grateful. Nice to be here.
Mm.